Welcome to the realm of intoxicating flavors and head-banging beer reviews.
It's time for a little local history lesson about Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What's up, everybody? It's the Ginger Yeti, and I'm doing something a little different today. I found this beer called the Aggro Slag at Sprague Mart, and I feel like there needs to be a little history lesson involved with what this beer is referencing. So I'm going to try to give you a little bit of history about the area this beer is referencing, and hopefully I'll be able to post up some pictures and things while I'm talking, and then we'll get into the beer review. So this is called the Brown Dump is one of the names, or the Slag Mountain, or the West Mifflin Mountain of Slag. And I've seen this personally many times over the years. Along Route 51 in West Mifflin, which is a suburb of Pennsylvania, is one of Pittsburgh's many monuments to the steel-making heritage. It's a large man-made mountain of slag called Brown's Dump. Brown's Dump heap began in 1913 when the Carnegie, Illinois Steel Corporation, part of the U.S. Steel Corporation, bought 410 acres of land as a disposal site for the huge amounts of slag produced at the nearby Duquesne, Edgar, Thompson, and Homestead Steelworks. For over 50 years, Union Railroad slag trains from the mills made the trip to Brown's Dump to unload the contents. Locomotives pulling teacup-shaped rail cars arrived continuously day and night to pour their molten cargo down the hillside in what resembled a river of volcanic lava, much to the delight of all the locals when they went out to look at it. And now slag is a waste product, or used to be a waste product, byproduct, of the smelting process of making steel. When rock-containing iron ore is smelted in a furnace, the impurities separate from the iron and become a molten rock called slag. It is a hard, chunky compound composed of silicon, phosphorus, manganese, and limestone. So over the years, the slag pile grew into a hill, then a mountain, which made it further look like a volcano. Young and old would gasp in awe of the molten mixture lit up in the night sky, and vehicles would sometimes be lined up for a mile or more along Lebanon Church Road and Clareton Boulevard, especially in the evenings, just to see the slag being dumped. When dumping stopped in the late 1960s, the mountain had risen to over 200 feet tall and covered the equivalent of 130 city blocks. It had become the largest man-made mountain in Pennsylvania. That's crazy that it became the largest man-made mountain in Pennsylvania. Then U.S. Steel began selling off portions of the land for commercial development. Part of the land was developed for construction into Century 3 Mall, which a lot of people know. It opened in 1979, although I think it's closed now. And you can go see this slag pile today. It's still there, but it's been all built up. There's all kind of stores, restaurants. I think there's a Walmart on top. There's a Giant Eagle. I mean, they've really developed it into like a lot of retail property. I can remember my parents telling me about the slag dump and the slag mountain being on fire, because they were in Pittsburgh back in those times when that was going on, and they said it was crazy to see. And I've been past that place, and it is a huge, huge area. I have seen it develop over the years, but it is a giant, like, fake mountain, basically. It is cool to see that they've turned it into alternative uses, to use it for shopping centers, and now found a way to use that slag and concrete. So back to the beer now. Time for the beer review. So the the Aggro Slag is what they're referencing, and you can see on the can here, it's those teacup-shaped rail cars dumping the slag onto the side of the hill, and it's just molten rock going on. And this is from Cinderlands Brewing Company, fitting name, right? Out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, I had the privilege of going to that brewery about 3 years ago. It's an awesome brewery. Had a really fun time there. And apparently now they have 2 locations. I've only been to the one that's actually in the city. And as I said previously, I picked this up at Sprague Mart down in Parma. I paid $4 and I think that says 9 cents. I think that says $4.09. On the bottom of the can here it says Aggro Slag 2224. So it's relatively fresh. It's an Imperial Red IPA brewed in a can in Pittsburgh. The Aggro Slag Imperial Red India Pale Ale brewed with Centennial, Magnum, Mosaic Cryo, Nugget CGX. I have no idea what Nugget CGX is. I've heard of Nugget hops, but never Nugget CGX. And Simcoe hops. Nothing else on the can here, really. I mean, this is really cool can artwork. It's too bad I don't put the alcohol on here or the IBUs, so now I've got to trust what Untappd says. Of course, Untappd doesn't have any IBUs on it, but Untappd does say this is an 8.5% alcohol beer. No idea if they're right or not. Now, on Untappd, this beer gets a 3.89 with 205 check-ins. Nothing on Beer Advocate. I'm pouring that way too hard. This is going to be a whole glass of just this orangey, foamy head. Good job. Got the 45-degree angle right, I think, but just poured it way too hard. And that is... I mean, that looks like a orangey IPA. It's supposed to be a red IPA. But that is kind of orangey. On the SRM chart, I'd probably give that an 11. You cannot see through that at all. Like I said, I poured that way too hard. So I've got a big bear paw's worth of just off-white orange tinged head that is just sitting there. Go in for the nose. Like zesty orange. Just a zesty orange kind of smell. Now, Imperial red IPA, I don't know about Imperial, but red IPAs I tend to like more than regular IPAs. Because I believe they have more maltiness to them. And maybe I'm speaking out of turn there. But we'll find out, right? Cheers, everybody. Man, that took a minute to get through that head. Medium body, a little bit of viscousness to it, just slightly. Get some of that evaporative alcohol in the mouth. Like there's no alcohol burn, but you kind of get that evaporative, like you know there's some alcohol in it. For all the hops they listed, it's not like super hoppy. The malt does like balance out that hoppiness. Do get some bitterness. There is some malt sweetness in there. But if this didn't have the evaporative alcohol in the mouth, I would have no idea that this was a Imperial IPA. It's a nice IPA. I mean, it's got, like I said, it's got enough malt in there to balance out the hops, balance out the bitterness. You get some of those like tropical fruit, orangey flavors from the hops. And then that bitterness, you get some of that bitterness, and the malty notes just smack that bitterness down. They just cut that bitterness. And the only thing that's a detractor on this beer is you get that evaporative alcohol. But I guess that'll keep you from drinking a lot of them. Or at least let you know it's a high ABV beer. But that's nice. I mean, overall, that's really nice. Excuse me. I think if it didn't give that didn't have that evaporative alcohol in it, I'd give it close to a 4 on Untappd. So with that evaporative alcohol, I think 3.8 is probably a good position on Untappd. Give this a big horns up. Brewery's super cool. Hope you all enjoyed my story about the slag, the background on the slag and the slag pile or slag mountain in Pittsburgh, where they got the inspiration for the beer can art and the beer name. If you did, let me know down below. Have you ever seen that slag pile? You've been out there to Pittsburgh, the Century 3 Mall area, West Mifflin, where that slag pile is. Let me know down below. And as always, embrace the adventure.